What is up with it? Today we're going to be watching a bit of the Virginia Beach Regionals. This is going to be top 16 between Usopp and Doflamingo. This was hosted by the Booster Box, and if you want to watch more of this tournament, you can on their YouTube. I was at this tournament, lost in top 32. I'm going to be playing some Doflamingo this weekend for the online, so I figured I wanted to watch a little bit of, Doflamingo gameplay, and why not versus one of the harder matchups? Maybe I can learn a thing or two about how to navigate a matchup like Usopp that is difficult. Deep won the rock paper scissors by being the higher seed, so got to choose to go first, and the Leorio is going to go ahead and grab a stage and a Frankie and pitch a Sabo. We're going to go ahead and play out the Teach. Going to go ahead and swing 7 and play Weevil. You love to see it. Going to go ahead and give out 2 cards here, the Bartlemo and the Rebecca. Not wanting to get our hand size too large. Oh, gonna swing 5, which we'll take, and then go ahead and play the Frankie. I almost think it would be better to not swing there. I could be mistaken, but I don't think you necessarily really want to give the Doflamingo player cards when he is trying to do some... Oh my goodness, wow. Wow, okay. I'm shocked that that's what he did. I mean, I see his hand. His only, like, hits are, like, crocodile. Interesting line here. Deciding to not put anything sideways. Saying, hey, you missed the Zoro last turn. Are you really going to have it this turn? And even if you do, all you're going to do is remove my Weevil. I want to take a card here anyways. I don't want to give you anything to swing into. Also, I think he wanted to put up this second Teach, so that way this turn he could have theoretically played a Jozu to bounce like the Frankie. So I see what Deep was thinking here. I think this was actually a pretty creative line, a pretty good line. Just unfortunate that we didn't get to establish any bodies. But I guess he just decided, like, hey, I haven't seen very many good warlords. And I think if he had found a good warlord, he probably wouldn't have bounced this Weevil, and he would have just bounced one of the Teaches, is my guess. But he's still just no good warlords, just some Crocs, Pudding, Mihawk, some Red Rocks, just a really disgusting hand, which is part of the reason why I've always liked 10 2Ks in the deck. I know a lot of players, especially the Eastern players, they play 12 2Ks historically in Doflamingo. Sometimes even 14, 15 I've seen even in winning lists over there. To me, the worst hands are always the ones where you're just clogged on 2Ks. Like imagine if this Jozu was just another 2K, right? Which is like what they have done with those slots at times. Or like even the Red Rock, another 2K, right? Okay, but gonna go ahead and Rebecca combo here. Oh, playing out only the Kyros? No, we're gonna at least play out the Sabo. Oh, a Cavendish. Okay, that's really what you want to find here. We do have both a Gravity Blade and a Red Rock in our hand. And we're going to go ahead and swing 9 at the Weevil, which we're going to counter out with. We have all these 2Ks. We've already taken some hits. We might as well save this Weevil. We're going to go ahead and go 7 at life. Not a great spot for the Doflamingo, I would say. Can't really Gravity Blade them. You could Red Rock the Kyros. I'm not exactly sure how many cards are in the Usopp's hand. Maybe 3 at this point, I think. If there's only 3, yeah, I just want to swing 6. Oh, 6 at the Cavendish. Interesting. Oh, and it's gonna die? Okay. Wow, you love to see it. And we will go ahead and red rock the Kairos. So actually, not the worst spot for the Doflamingo. And we did blind hit into the law this time. I don't think we're going to use its effect. It's basically just a vanilla here. I cannot imagine we're going to use the effect. Yeah, and we don't. And the Usopp is going to go ahead and take. So actually, all things considered, a very good turn for the Doflamingo. You have to imagine he was pretty thrilled with that. I think we got a couple good hits here, depending on how our hand looks and how we want to use our Daunt. It's possible we take literally any of those. A lot of cards building in the trash for the Usopp, so a King Kong gun is looking to be live here, which I will say, based on the fact that we weren't countering out of those hits last turn, and because we triggered one earlier. I also know this person's list, they were kind of the person that I would say like kind of popularized for King Kong gun. My read of the situation is that they probably have 4 King Kong gun in their hand right now. And just taxing this Doflamingo's hand, he's forced to countering out. We're going to go ahead and play Frankie, and I think the plan here is we're just going to tax the Doflamingo's hand, and then next turn, maybe we King Kong gun kill them or something, you know, or maybe 2 turns from now. But we're getting there. We were able to draw a Sengoku, which is quite nice. We're going to start with the Gravity Blade, however. Going to go 7. Yeah, it makes sense to start this way. Don't let your opponent know the swings. If we find a Boa here, we can still go 7-7. We do not, however. I think we only find a Law or a Moria. A little bit of a tell there from Deep saying, hey, just so you know, I found a Moria here, but I'm not grabbing it. Which, who knows how relevant that really is. Oh, picking up both the Law and the Sengoku. Just going to swing 5 at the Rebecca and then replay the Sengoku. I think that's fair. And then keeping the Law in hand just in case our opponent tries to play a Bartlemo or an Ideo. Okay. I'm not 100% convinced I'm happy about picking the Law back up. I kind of feel like having it on board can really help us secure a kill next turn, but I'm not 100% sure if I like that or not, to be honest with you. I think I probably would have kept it on board, with the idea that like Sengoku can like very possibly find me another one. Also, I don't really have any reason to believe he has like a small blocker, which he does here, to be fair. But like, I don't actually know that. And like, even if my Sengoku doesn't find me a Law, it can find me like a Gecko. And I know that my opponent has to deal with these Laws on the board. Like right here, if we just had the Law on board, the opponent swings over one of the Laws, we'd be able to play Gecko, and then Gecko grabs back the second Law. And then, you know, for 5 Dawn, basically, we get to establish 2 bodies and remove the Ideo. And we also still have the Law on board. So we get to do like 3 very real swings. And we're actually threatening 4 swings because we have the Teach. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and give him the block. And we're just going to play the Doflamingo and just bounce one of the Cavendish. And then that kind of tells me that we're going to maybe even do another big swing at the cat. Yeah, we are. Interesting. Saying, hey, look, I'm willing to just play the value game with you. I'm not really in that much of a rush to kill you. which this is open deck list, so we do have to be a little scared of this King Kong gun, which is exactly what I thought might happen. Yeah. Yeah, I really thought that. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, wait, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Yeah. Oh, little scary. Yep. Yep. Yep, and Deep has to concede that. That's kind of why I wanted to go for game that turn. The way that the Usopp was playing throughout a lot of that game, I had a hard read that he had the King Kong guns in his hand. And I feel like by trying to play it slow there, we're really opening ourselves to dying. I normally don't rewind, but we're going to do it. I think like in this spot, when we're faced with this situation, I think 5 cards in hand. I think we just have to go for it. I think it's like Usopp only has so much counter. He pitched a brick off of the Cavendish. I'm reading him as like he's a little bit more bricked than he'd like to be. I understand the perspective of like, hey, I can probably survive another turn. I don't know exactly how much counter is in Deep's hand. I guess I can take a look. There's like a non-insignificant amount, I think. And we are removing like one of the Cavendishes, to be fair. But the King Kong gun can just really get you. Yeah, I can't get a good enough look at Deep's hand. Maybe if I slow it down. I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough to justify it. I think you just have to YOLO it. And like, sure, you don't get there a lot of the time. But I don't think there was enough there to justify. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe. I just think in the context of the Usopp playing 4 King Kong gun, I think I would have respected it a little bit more. But it really depends on how much counter Deep had. Like, did he die to 1 King Kong gun, or was it only because his opponent had 2? If you survive 1, then I think it's fair to not go for it. Okay, gonna go ahead and start with Perona, and then Usopp is gonna go ahead and start off with the Leorio with the stage. Obviously the ideal opener for the Leo. The Leo and the stage for the Usopp. We're going to go ahead and swing 7, get this Weevil. Also pretty close to ideal for the Doflamingo. We are going to go ahead and swing 6, which will be countered out. And then, are we really going to swing 5 at life? I think it's a little bit more reasonable in the context of they don't have Teach. The thing is, last game we were basically in this spot and we chose to swing 5. And I think it's more reasonable to swing 5 than it was there. Because at least there, like, they played Teach and they played a card from hand, right? Whereas, like, here they played Perona and they played a card from top of deck. And, like, Teach also requires that you have more cards in hand to pair with it. Whereas, like, this Perona can just continue playing off the top of the deck, which is not what's going to happen here, but it could have happened here. Not sure I'm in love with this sequencing. Okay, we're not swinging at life, so fair enough. I'm still not sure I'm like in love with this sequencing. Do we have anything we plan to do? Yeah, we don't. Why didn't we just start with an 8 from Weevil? Okay. That seemed a bit sloppy to me. But it's probably fine. 5 cards in the Doflamingo hand. Oh, wow. Wait, there's no way. Oh, wait. 15 in trash is only for the double attack. I was going to say, there's no way he already has that many. Yo, these King Kong guns are so fire. Okay. Oh, 2K, 1K. Okay, like to see the sportsmanship to not shark there on the accidental misclick. I think, honestly, I think Nick would have been well within his rights if he chose to. Deep did put those cards in trash. I'm not exactly sure how One Piece judges would rule it. Yu-Gi-Oh judges would 100% rule it as you put those in trash, like you're goobed. So, you know, glad to see that, we're not trying to shark there and just say, hey, it was like a mistake. Like, clearly he didn't intend to do that, and let him take it back. I am a believer in like playing the game properly. And like, if there is something that like you did wrong, like it is your fault, but there's a line to that where it's like, if like someone very clearly did not intend to do something, like, you're kind of just shitty if you try to shark them on it. But I know there's plenty of people who disagree with some of the things that I think about, like what deems like playing properly. Like if my opponent swings into my 2-cost Uta with their leader, I'm going to confirm that that's what they want to do, and then when they do, I'm gonna say, okay, the Uta doesn't die, attack resolves. Whereas some people, they think that you should, like either like warn them beforehand or like allow them to take back the swing or whatever. To me, like that's just a knowledge gap. I had that happen actually at this very regional. Okay, so gonna go digging some more with the Perona. We didn't like the top stack that we saw originally, which I agree with. It wasn't very good. We're gonna Moria. I missed what the Moria grabbed back. Might have just been a counter, I believe. Okay, and we are going 8. I have to imagine this is at life. I have to imagine this is at life. Nick deep in thought. Yep, and we're gonna take. Putting him to 0. A bit of a scary proposition. I don't actually know if Deep was on Femur for this event. Nick obviously does know if Deep is on Femur or not. I'm gonna base the fact that he took. That tells me that Deep is not on Femur, which is reasonable. This is a post-ban list tournament. Most people are not on it. And based on the fact that Nick thought about it for a while, the read I have there is that he does have the counter, but he didn't want to do it for some reason. Like maybe he would have had to give up 2-1-1 or something like that. We're just going to be taxing this hand. Going to go 5. Going to have to counter. We're going to go 6. Going to have to counter. Now we're going to go 9 at Jozu, I imagine. And we'll give the block. We're going to use 1 Dawn on a Leo. So the nice thing about this is we don't have to worry about any more Zoros coming down. Oh, double Frankie. Okay. A Gravity Blade could seal this. A Gravity Blade could definitely seal this. Do we get the draw? We do. We're going to go 7. We're going to go 5. And we're going to go 8, and he doesn't have it. I think Is 5-8 better than 6-7? I guess it kind of depends on your read of their hand. How did he counter the first 7? What did he use? So 7. He gave a 2 and a 1. So if you go 5-8, you can potentially juice an extra 2k. If you go 6-7, you could potentially juice more 1ks. I think I would be more down to go 6-7 personally. But I'd be willing to listen to arguments for why 5-8 is better. Because, like, he did swing 5 and he did get a 2k out of hand, right? If anyone has any thoughts on that, I would definitely be interested in hearing. If you have a strong preference. Okay, so going to start with stage, then going to start with Perona. There's a Weevil in that top stack. There's a couple Weevils, which you love to see. There's a Sengoku, you love to see that. Okay, putting the Weevils closer to the bottom of the stack. I'm a bit interested in seeing what exactly... Okay, so he intends to play Teach next turn. Okay, understandable. He's gonna, I believe, draw Teach. This Leo grabbing out a Zoro. We're gonna go ahead and play the IDEO. These little blockers are so important for the Usopp, so that way the opponent cannot just jam big number here. So we're gonna look at top 5. We're gonna grab Teach. I don't know if I like this. To be honest with you, I think I don't like this. Unless we're playing the Law. If we're playing the Law, I'm cool with it. Yeah, and we are. And we're just going to bounce the Law back to our hand rather than the Sengoku because we do not want to give our opponent something to swing the Cavendish into. Seems completely reasonable to me. Opponent's going to go 6 at our life. We'll take. They're going to go Zoro popping the Teach. Now we're on 6 Dawn, and I believe we do have a Boa in hand, so it's just always going to be a Boa turn here. This is part of the reason why I wasn't thrilled with playing the Sengoku before. Yeah, I kind of think we made a misstep here. Because we don't even end up bouncing the Sengoku. So I think really, if we know that this is going to be our turn, we should have instead drawn the Teach and then had it so that way the following turn, if our Teach survives, we either get to double summon including a Weevil using the Teach. And if we lose the Teach, then we just play Boa and hit a Weevil. Like, clearly Weevil is the best hit. Weevil is one of the best cards in the entire deck. And we kind of bottom decked 2 for essentially no reason. Like, that stack was not bad by any stretch of the imagination. And look, now, like, we hit a Boa, which is fine. It's helped filtering us out of, like, bad cards. But, like, we would probably rather hard cast this Boa, right? Like, we probably would have gotten to the point in our deck where, like, we could have played this Boa on 8 instead of being forced to play it off the top. Which I think would have done us a little bit better. Yeah, and we're taking a lot of damage here. And our opponent has a really frightening board. It's hard for me to imagine us winning this game. To be honest, even if we had played our cards a little bit differently, I think we're probably just goobed anyways. Like, Usopp got to go first and he's seen his perfect curve. Like, kind of just sounds like we're goobed. But I do think that this could have definitely been played cleaner by Deep, in my opinion. Okay, we're going to go ahead and grab back the teach. We're going to teach effect. This has to be a Weevil, I imagine. Could also be a Law just to pick back up our one drops. I would be actually pretty okay with that as well. But like having the 6k body means we get taxed a little bit less, but to be honest, at this point, Nick can probably just ignore our board. Like his board is bigger and he's the aggressor here. He can probably just ignore our board and just go face. Especially in the context of his deck playing King Kong Gun. Yeah, I think that was a 6 at life. Just do it again. Keep trying to tax these 2Ks. Oh, wow, we take. I feel like Deep is dead. I feel like Deep is... I will honestly, if I have the Dawn to do it, I'm just swinging 6 again. I'm like, were you just taking because you're the greediest man alive, or do you have no 2Ks? If Nick has a way to swing 6 here, I'm swinging 6 again, 100%. 100 times out of 100, I'm swinging 6 here again as my next action, if my Dawn allocation allows it. Which is hard for me to imagine. On 9 Dawn, we don't have a way to swing 6 here again. 7 would also be fine, but I think I'd rather go 6. Again, it really depends on like how we're allocating our Dawn this turn. I think he's even considering playing like a King Kong Gun here. I really do. If that's the case, I almost want to go 9 first. But I do really just want to start with a 6 and just say like, hey, do you actually not have 2Ks or were you just joshing? Okay, and Deep takes the 9. Oh, wow, and we just go all in. We're not doing any of that, and Deep is just dead. Yeah. I think he dies here from some missteps, right? Like he should have some more cards in hand. There were some 2Ks in that original stack. If he had not done the Sengoku, and he could have like drawn those 2Ks, he would hit a Weevil, which would also have generated him an extra card. I would have to like really look at the spot, but I think it's very possible he would have had a Boa for his 8 Dawn turn. That Boa that he ended up hitting off top instead. I think it's possible he could have got there. Like, for sure he could have at least drawn the Sengoku on 8 and then played it, which would have found him the Boa. And, like, he just, like, for sure did not have to die this turn. To be fair, he still loses, almost certainly. He still almost certainly loses this game eventually. But he does actually just die this turn for no reason. So, interesting matchup to watch. I had a lot of fun watching this. Let me know if there was anything else you guys saw that you thought were some big missteps in this. I thought this was an interesting game. And thank you all so much for watching, and shout outs to my Metafy supporters who keep this going, who support the channel: Ybox, Jake, Just a Guy, and Ivan, Joyboy, Zephyr, Captivate, Logan, Mistaken, Chase, Emon, Hendrick, Debo, Tailshoot, Great Poner, Winerax, KJM, Felix, Reckless, Zarunix, Furry Zerk, Bandit, Ohigi, Cho, N9 Jose, Chinto, Got Josh, Inku, Stu, Arib, and Flash. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Also, I should have more money matches coming soon. I should be playing like 2 today, I believe. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.